We ready?
Yes.
Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Who do you want to call?
I'm gonna call my mom, sorry.
Let's see if she picks up.
Barbara!
You look fabulous. How are you? Well, get a picture of us, look at
West Wing Week essentially answers only one question, and what did the president do this week?
White House photographers joke that you can't take a good picture of President Obama without Arun Chaudhary being somewhere in the shot. He's the official White House videographer and has been shadowing Mr. Obama since soon after the then Illinois senator began running for president.
I joined the campaign pretty early on, 2007, right at the end of May.
This is Ashley Parker of the New York Times. We were able to follow Mr. Chaudhary as he put together his regular show. It's called West Wing Week, and it goes online each Friday.
And we are rolling.
Should we just begin by pointing out the irony that the outtakes from this will actually end up as intakes on the New York Times website?
It's true. I'm shooting all week based on not what I think is going to go into West Wing Week, but based on what we think is interesting to have in the archives.
Good to see you, my friend. How are you? You doing well?
No matter what happens tonight, right? Our children still love us.
That's the key.
It is. I know.
Absolutely.
All right, sir.
He's definitely part of the White House communications machine, but he's kind of a quirky cog.
I'm a guy who went to art school specifically so that I wasn't going to be having to wear suits every day.
He has largely free reign in and around the West Wing and travels with the president about 2/3 of the time. He's careful not to intrude, especially with the boss himself.
I feel like without him saying it, I can sense when I'm starting to get on to where he feels like I might be interfering with the business at hand.
Don't trip, whatever you do.
We have things that are sort of funny, but not too funny. They're what I call government funny.
I've only been briefed like 8 times on this.
Interspersed with the real sort of bulk of what the president's doing every week.
Mr. President, may I please introduce His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Korea.
How are you?
I love being there for that stuff. I just think that it is absolutely fascinating.
Mr. Chaudhary cites a type of journalism as one of his main influences.
Old newsreels from the first half of the 20th century.
But it isn't quite journalism. It clearly reflects the administration's take on the news of the day. Last week, while voters delivered the White House a quote-unquote shellacking in the midterms, Mr. Chaudhary stuck to fairly innocuous footage.
Later that evening, President Obama called the San Francisco Giants to congratulate them on winning this year's World Series.
When it comes time to decide what's going to be actually released into the public, the press department and the comms shop weigh in on it, and they will take a look at West Wing Week before it goes out.
There does get to be some sort of, some propaganda aspect to the White House blasting out content into the sort of media ecosystems.
Nancy Scola is an associate editor of Tech President, a website devoted to the intersection of politics and technology.
Somebody who's not necessarily closely following the situation looks at West Wing Week, it looks like a documentary, right? At the same time, it's a documentary that's produced by the organization itself.
It's not part of the messaging versus the press reporting or however that is defined. It simply is a historical account of everything that the president has done that week.
The White House doesn't keep track of how many people are watching on whitehouse.gov, but when West Wing Week hits YouTube, it averages about 20,000 views.
We also have a large internal fan base for it, which is not something I thought about. It's a third audience, people watching it this week, people watching it in 20 years, but also turns out people like watching themselves.
Let me hang out, because I don't want this to be on West Wing Week.
It seems that Mr. Chaudhary's style has found a niche in the White House. He will likely not be the last person to hold the title of White House videographer.
And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're set?
We are set. Thank you, sir.